Hi everyone, it's John Elkhoury from FrenchCrazy.com, and on FrenchCrazy we get tens of thousands of daily readers, and a lot of them have the same question. Realistically speaking, how long does it take to become fluent in French? It's a real doozy of a question. I find that people, mostly on the internet, will run around trying to sell programs and products, and in these products they all promise that you can become fluent in some absurdly short amount of time. Other people will tell you it takes forever. They're the types who maybe took a few classes in school and found little progress, or they're the ones who are trying to learn French on their own and they've been having difficulty. I helped work in a bilingual research lab, and after reading up on some of the research and learning French myself, becoming fluent in French, I made my own conclusions to this question. You need to consider what fluency means to you, because it's rather subjective. Do you just want to have conversations with people, or do you need a more professional French to use in the workplace? Do you want to read elaborate novels and write papers in French, or do you only care about speaking to people? These are all serious questions to consider. Also, why are you learning French? What are your goals? And what is your motivation? So with all that being said, I estimate that to be fully fluent in French, which means to read, write, and talk with people, both formally and informally, can take anywhere from 2 to 5 years. And that's considering you're a native English speaker who started today with no knowledge of French. I stick with the number of 5 years, but it can actually take even longer. So when you hear 5 years, you may say, wow, that's a long time, John. Well, you need to realize that each language has its own grammar, vocabulary, and expressions that you need to master. It may take a while to pronounce things well, or to even follow conversations with natives. I have a friend who knows 7 languages, French being one of his best. He and many people reading my site all agree learning a language takes much longer than 6 months, 3 months, or 10 days. For the average person, we are talking in terms of years. Years. It takes a kid almost 8 years to get a handling of their own language, but luckily we're not kids, we are adults, which fosters a few shortcuts, albeit to the detriment of our pronunciation or the possible interference of our L1, our first language. I've been learning French since 2004, and I ended up taking classes during high school and college. I now have a 4-year degree in French. In 2009, 5 years later, I certainly didn't feel fluent. After completing high school French, I still made a ton of mistakes, and when I went to France, I felt very uncomfortable talking to people. However, high school did set me up to understand conversations and do mundane tasks. Order food, read signs, or buy tickets. I went back to France in 2010, 2011, 2012, and in 2014, I lived in France for over a year. I worked in France, lived in France, held 3-hour-long conversations with strangers, made plenty of friends, and even dated French people. I never expected to become fluent in French, and yet I did. I explain exactly how in my book, if you're curious. But over time, I realized that a better method isn't to think of yourself as a French learner up until you're fluent. You don't just learn French and then you stop. Rather, you should think of yourself as a French learner for life. That way, no matter what amount of time I give you, if you're committed to using your French for the long haul, in the end, you will always wind up becoming fluent. So take some time and realize, why are you trying to become fluent in French? Take that goal, write it down, and get to work. If you need help, consult my website, FrenchCrazy.com. We offer the latest tips and culture updates to make learning French not only more fun, but more interesting. A lot of teachers like to read FrenchCrazy, and even French people send me quirky emails about my content. So, in summary, I just want to add, how long does it take to become fluent in French? Fluency is subjective, so acknowledge what that means to you. Your age doesn't need to hold you back. You can start learning at any time. Anybody can learn French because all you need is hard work, motivation, bit of time, and some effort. And lastly, make sure to make learning French fun for you, regardless about your reasons for learning it. Check out my book, Fluent in French now, on Amazon to find out how I became fluent in French and to get some insider knowledge that can maybe save you time. You'll learn the tricks that I wish I knew before I started learning French a long time ago. Maybe you could get back in the game and become fluent in French too. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.